There we go. I'm sorry, man. I'm really not tech savvy like that, so I apologize about that. But we back. For sure, we back now. Wait for my brothers to come on in, and we had these conversations. There we go. There we go. What up, though?
What up, my boy? Can you
Chilling.
hear me?
How you? How you?
Man, it's Saturday, dog. It's
Man,
Saturday.
absolutely, man. Sorry about the me not being so tech savvy on this, brother. But
It's all good.
okay.
It's
We made it. How was your week going?
man. Just grinding, bro. Grinding, man.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you, man.
Man, it's always a grind. Trust me.
Always grind.
I'm on the same thing, man. I'm on the same thing. Bring your boy Renz in here. We got some combos today. We got some pretty good combos today.
Yes, sir.
Today we're gonna talk about co-parenting, which I think that's gonna be a pretty hot topic, as
Yeah.
well as we're gonna hit this Will Smith a little bit and see what's going on. What's your opinion on the Will Smith situation?
You know what, man? We talked about this in our last conversation last week.
Yes, we did.
Respecting women.
Yes, we did.
And listen, always, in my statement, I mentioned where's the accountability for people that just say things. Now, we can talk about that more in depth, but
Right.
that's just my whole take on it. People may agree with me, they may not agree with me, but where's the accountability at, bro?
Okay, when you're saying that, are you saying Chris Rock should have accountability for just saying anything? That's what you're saying.
Man, yes, he should.
Okay, so I
He got, hey, P, let me say this, P.
okay.
He had the opportunity I think he had the opportunity to say, man, should I say this joke or should not say this joke? That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he had the opportunity to say, man, should I really say this joke, man? Because it's going to be fucked up. Or should I just go ahead and move around and possibly say another joke?
Okay.
Right? You see what I'm saying? So where's the accountability when I say, I'm going to say something that's really fucked up, and then let's see what the repercussions are.
What's your thoughts with that, Renz?
What y'all talking about, the slap that was heard across the world, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I think, man, that I don't really feel like Chris Rock was that wrong. The joke wasn't that bad, especially if he didn't know about her health condition. It wasn't that bad. I don't think Will Smith did the worst thing in the world, but I do think he was wrong and that he should take accountability for what he did and just learn what was the root of all this. Because it had to be a root of something, that was done so ugly and in that way. So find out what the root of it was and just move forward.
Yeah, I think Will Smith was there wrong. Just my opinion. And I say that because I just feel like it's a way to handle anything, right?
Absolutely.
I think he could have checked him or said something to him, right? But don't embarrass yourself, your family. These last minute decisions that we make or going out of anger and everything else like that has long repercussions.
Yeah.
Right now, if it wasn't a mistake, you wouldn't be apologizing.
Right.
And you wouldn't apologize that night, then come back and do another apology to this man, right? And all I'm saying is we have to think about our actions before we do something, right?
Right.
And don't let the rage of situations, he could have, like he was sitting there yelling at him, he could have did that, in my opinion, and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Because that was pretty effective, right?
Yeah.
I think it was embarrassing, but I think it was effective.
I agree with that.
And you know, everybody that's say, okay, yeah, I feel like you have to put him in check or this. Anybody put their hands on me or any man that, you know, it's way worse repercussions, you know, for that than just saying something verbally. And we were just talking about last week, taking up for your wife and you know, different situations like that. I'm 100% for that, right?
Yeah.
And that's good. The way I looked at it though, man, that was not protecting your wife.
I don't think so
Protection
either.
is somebody being in hurt, harm, or danger, and them words didn't put her
Yeah,
in hurt, harm, or danger. It hurt
sure.
her feelings, but it didn't hurt her physically. So, in my opinion, that's not protecting your wife. Protecting your wife is shielding her from something. You can't shield her from words. If a police officer or somebody would have said it, he would have had to take it. If Mike Tyson would have said it, he would have took it.
Hey,
If certain people would have said it, he would have took it and not did nothing. So that same level that you have for somebody else, you got to have that for everybody. It has to be universal, in my opinion.
you know
Yeah.
what, man? Let me go a little deeper, man, because I had an opportunity to just think about this shit, man. And I'm like, you know, here's an opportunity for us as black men to look out for each other, bro. Like, I'm not about to go in front of millions of people and embarrass my brother and his wife on national TV in front of millions of people when I know my brother been going through some shit. So that's why I say, man, where's the accountability with people that use their craft to embarrass people, man? And the things that Will Smith been enduring, bro, I'm gonna be the villain. I can't judge the man. You know, he may have fucked up and say, man, I'm finna go smack this dude. I'm gonna embarrass everybody. But how can we prejudge the man when he been going through so much? How do you take that and be like, okay, I'm gonna just be composed right now? This man just said a real fucked up joke, but I'm gonna just where do we take accountability as black men to look out for our brother, man, and not embarrass him and his family?
But that's just it. When you up there joking, you ain't thinking about all that. I've seen comedians talk about their own family members. I seen a comedian go so low to he even call his daughter a B word just at the expense of a joke. And so it's really like nobody's safe at that point in time. And if you're gonna sit in the front row, you really not safe. It's almost like you putting an attention sign on you at that point. So it go both ways, but you know, I don't think by him making that joke, he thought that, you know what, this is gonna have this effect on him to get up and slap me. I think he definitely would have avoided it if he would have thought that. But
I will say he could have handled it.
I guess where's the self-control?
Where's
yeah, there you go, the self-control.
Where's the
That's
self-control?
everything.
And two, your wife is more embarrassed now, right? Then, I mean, you're walking around with shame big time right now.
Well, she put him in that situation. Her fault. I'm gonna be the villain. Though. I'm gonna be the villain. It's her fault that he got up there and smacked that man.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that. You know why I say that? And I'm saying that because we're all accountable for our actions, right? We're all accountable for our actions. So,
Right.
So them doing that, I mean, you gotta have some type of accountability, man.
I always say, whoever you bring into your life, make sure that that person understands not to embarrass you along this journey called marriage. Okay?
I agree.
So if he didn't put that out there, man, I gotta agree. You know, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of thoughts that go
Tiffany
on with
said,
that, man. Like you said,
Jada
your marriage and your
marriage.
partner, they either gonna add life to you or it's either gonna take it away. So, and that go for more than one situation. You know, just overall, their marriage is something else, and we know some of the things that's been said. So maybe a lot of those things had to do with, you know, what happened with him getting up and slapping that man, but none of it was about him protecting her because
Hey, look,
there was no need to protect her.
Somebody said, how has she protected them? She hasn't. She just aired all their business out there. She said the man can't do it in bed. You know what I'm saying? You know, her daughter writing little diaries talking about where's Tupac. Man, you done killed this man. P, you killed the man.
I'm just saying, brother. I mean, I don't. Yeah, that's not.
I get y'all perspective though, man. But I, you know,
yeah, I'm just saying, you know, regardless of my actions, you know, and we were talking about last week about being the leaders, right? You have to lead. You have to lead by example, right?
Yes.
And I don't think that was leading by example for your wife, for your kids, for anything. I just think he was totally out of line. And I think as a man, right, I'm not going to, because your actions, yeah, it caused reactions, but I can sit back and say, okay, it's a proper time for anything, right? If I felt like I had to smack him, right, I'm going backstage and I'm going to smack him.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a time and a place for everything.
It is. It's
a time and a place.
I
And then not only that, bro, but certain rules gonna apply in some places and they not in others.
Sure.
Yeah.
We in the street and we in a certain neighborhood. It's certain things that you can do in one neighborhood that you can't do in another. It's certain things that you can do in corporate America that you can't do on a regular job. So you have to judge that too, where you at and what's going on. And you gotta, you know, put that all into your decision before you move forward.
I agree, man. I agree with our brothers on that. Here's my analogy with this. People that go out here and rob and steal and kill people, in the moment when adrenaline is so high, do you think that they are thinking with a sense of composure? Like, man, should I do this or should I not do this?
Let me ask you a question.
Absolutely no. Absolutely.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Both of y'all have children, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you want your kid can feel something in school. Y'all gonna say, you're gonna be on them about being in control, correct? And
absolutely.
Don't just act a fool. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you expect this from a kid, how can you not expect this from an adult?
I do. Like I said, I don't think he's the worst person in the world for what he did, but he was definitely wrong.
All I'm saying is protecting your woman, and then say, okay, even as a man, if you're embarrassed, right?
Right.
I'm pulling you to the side, and then I'm gonna say a lot of things I did as a teenager or as a young adult. As an older man, I'm not gonna do that now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say I got more to lose, and then two, it's not just me. Anything I do is a representation of my family, my wife, and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, now let me put y'all on the hot seat right quick.
Sure.
So I see that y'all feel Will Smith did something that he shouldn't did, but let me get y'all perspective on Chris Rock.
Okay.
What should he have told that joke or not? I understand it's a joke. Could he duck that joke, Pete, and say, man, let me not say nothing about it because I don't know I know my brother head ain't really there.
Bro.
No. That's what he do. That's his material.
As a comedian, you're not thinking about that.
No.
You're in the crowd. You're in the crowd to make people laugh and to roast people, right?
Yeah,
and to say jokes. I'm just saying,
right.
It comes with that. And I understand what you're saying. Could he not have said the joke? Yes, right? But then I don't think when you're telling jokes, you're thinking about a person medical situation. It's kind of visual. You see, and you say, oh, okay, this would be a right now joke. This would be a good joke. I don't think you're thinking her medical situation or any.
So that would be the deciding factor for me. Did he really know that she had a medical situation? We don't know that. If he know it and he go ahead with that joke, then that's something else. But if he don't know it, then you know it's hard to say, bro.
I'm saying, gentlemen, it shouldn't matter though. If you know,
I'm gonna
If
say, I'm gonna even
if you
go
know
to
my
left and
brother
say,
been
yeah, he
going through,
knew, right? I'm gonna say, yes, he knew, right? Even if he didn't know, you can't come up there and smack him,
You
right?
you can't smack the man, bro.
I get
Okay, so
wrong place, wrong time. Maybe you should have put him in the back. Like, hey, I'm gonna get at you right.
okay,
I
so
get it.
so if you said something, okay, you on here talking, right?
Right.
Right.
So if you say something that offends somebody, can somebody see you at the store and smack you?
They ain't gonna see. They ain't gonna. They're not gonna say nothing to me. You know what I'm
But
saying?
I'm saying, Swin,
They can't see me anyway because it's on the internet. I'm talking
Swin,
about
I'm
in
saying
real life.
Tell him.
if you said something that offended somebody on here, right?
Yeah.
And they saw you at the grocery store, at the gas station, anything, and said, I was really offended, and come up and smack you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Got him.
I want to see. I want to see.
It's different when you make it personal, man. Everything is, but we can. I mean, we keep it 100 though. We can honestly say we've all lost our temper at some point.
We have, and I can respect
And
that,
you
right?
gotta say I was wrong. It just ours didn't get aired out on TV the way that theirs did.
But I've never lost my temper and ran up on stage on nobody.
No, no, no.
Okay,
That's just completely bold.
I get it. I get that.
That's
You know,
just completely
wrong place.
bold. Chris Rock. Yeah, that's just completely bold.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, it's a lot of different ways to view that situation though, and
right.
it's interesting to say the
Hey,
least.
Riz, take a look at some of these comments of what they're saying, please, because I definitely want to get some of them in there.
I got you, child.
Um, so I just really wanted to hit that a little bit, like I said, and give. So what's your 2 cents on it? And we're gonna leave it alone, Riz.
Overall, I'm gonna say that if Chris Rock knew that Jada Pinkett had a medical condition, he should have left it alone. If he don't know, then she a good candidate for the movie that he said, and it was a joke. I think that he softened the blow in the beginning by saying, "I love you first. I
Sure.
love you, Jada." So it was done to be funny.
Okay.
But you know, like I say, if he knew that that woman was sick, then you don't say that. I mean, not sick, but had a medical condition. You don't say that.
Sure.
You know, it's other jokes that you could use.
Yeah.
They both was wrong in a way, but you know, I got to point the finger at Will the most because he got up and did something physically, and everything that we had on the line that night. You just don't do that. You got to take one for the team sometimes.
What is your take on that? Or what's your take on that, Swin?
You know, I agree with y'all. I mean, it was the wrong place at the wrong time. But at the end of the day, I've got the outstanding question: where do I protect my brother and his family, and not use my craft as an outlet and giving an excuse to say a real fucked up joke, man. That's all I'm saying, man. I think Will was wrong. He shouldn't have went up there and smacked the man on public TV. But at the end of the day, I have to. Where do I protect my brother? See, we are so caught up in that, man, and that disrespect. We talked about that last week. But at the same time, what do I protect my brother and his family? Because I know he's been going through some things. So
Man, see, we keep going on and on because I guess after that I would say, how is a man embarrassed who go on the internet and national TV and say I have an open marriage? Where's that? How can you possibly be embarrassed about anything else?
I'm not even going outside this circle. What I mean by that is because it's so much. You could say he did this, she did that, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with just that incident, and I guess my final say with this is, I don't see Chris Rock, in just my opinion, I don't see him as wrong because he's telling a joke, right?
Right.
If you can't take a joke, don't come. You know, at the end of the day, and then you walk up on stage and put your hands on somebody, I don't care what he said, right?
Right.
Or what the situation is, you're talking, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Words can't hurt you and fists can.
That's true. Absolutely.
So what I'm saying is, you can't physically attack nobody. And, you know, now, how would he feel if his kids were attacked? It'd be a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? And I'm all for protecting my wife or taking up, right? But just like he verbally said something, I think he could have verbally said something back and got his point across. Just like he sat in that seat and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. That was pretty effective, right?
How about this, though? Will Smith took all the L's in the world. Regardless of what I say, regardless of what you say, he took all the L's in the world. But here's what I bet won't happen again. I bet Chris Rock won't tell a joke ever again.
I bet Will Smith won't pull that again.
He probably won't.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I don't think. But guys, let's go ahead and hit this other subject, guys. So
hey, that was a good subject, man. I like that, man. That was
some fire.
I like that.
It was. You know, I mean, I just wanted to touch it. I just wanted to touch it a little bit. Riz, while we talking about this, kind of read some of them comments and let us know what they're saying also, so we can.
Look.
Somebody said Chris Rock can keep his mouth shut.
I bet he will. He gonna keep his goddamn mouth shut. I bet you won't pull that no more.
So, so we're gonna get into this. What we hitting next, Riz?
We talking about and we may spend a few weeks on this. We'll see how it go. But we want to talk about co-parenting from his perspective. A lot of times we don't hear the father side of co-parenting.
Okay.
Both positive and negative that go along with it. And again, our mission is to always come up with situations and ideas where we could be better and move forward as a people, right? So we're talking about co-parenting from his perspective.
Okay. Swin, what is your what's your take on this co-parenting?
Oh Lord,
you have kids, Swin? How many do you have? 2? Okay.
Yep. I got a girl and a boy, man. And I would say that I'm gonna be very transparent. I would say that my daughter, her mother, I don't know. I think she still feels some sort of way about us not being together.
Come on, preach.
and my daughter is 16 years old. You know, I feel that in the conversations that we have sometimes, man, through text messages, whatever. I feel that the bitterness is still there because that's something that she wanted. She wanted us to be together. I was young, man. You know, I was in my 20s when my daughter was born. So, you know, the decisions that I made, it was not to be with her. And I think that still affects her to this day. So in terms of co-parenting, it makes it that much harder to communicate with her.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say I'm on this conversation, and I'm not against y'all, but I'm going to kind of be devil's advocate on this a little bit and kind of go the opposite way and just ask questions like that. Okay? All right.
Let's go.
So you were saying that your baby mom wanted to be together?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And so were y'all in a relationship or what was the situation?
Hey, shit, to me, it was just that thing, you know what I'm saying? It was just me being intimate and at that particular time, but my daughter was born out of a situation. It really wasn't no relationship like that for me. I was still young, Pete. I was still learning.
I get that, but I'm going to say this. And the reason why I guess I take it so serious is, one, it's a child involved, right?
Right.
And two, not saying that you're not fathering that, but what I'm saying is, I think with women, it's a lot of emotion that go into that, right?
I understand.
Absolutely.
And then I'm just saying, as a man, getting with a woman and then putting a woman through, she has to carry this child and all this other stuff.
Somebody just asked a question. They said, was that communicated? Did you communicate with her
Correct.
upon y'all messing around that you didn't want to be in a relationship, or
So here's
how did that work?
It was communicated, but here's the situation.
Sure.
I'm gonna go into history. See, women grow up a lot faster than men.
They do.
Okay.
And we take a whole lot of time to get our shit in order, man. And I wasn't there at the time. She knew that. So I can't force her to say, well, I understand the position he's in right now. I can't force her to do that. So, you know, that's what happened. It was communicated, though, to answer whatever question was.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
Okay. So how is your because that relationship didn't work, right?
Yeah.
How is your relationship with her now?
You know, you talking about with my daughter's mother?
Yes, with raising your daughter, and
is non-existent. You know, I communicate as hard as hell because, like I said before, P, I feel like she's bitter still.
Is it her or is it you?
No, it ain't me. I'm good.
No. I'm asking that from the perspective of, okay, you gotta communicate with her in order to take care of your kid or get co-parenting situations, right?
That's that. I don't have any issues in terms of going to get my daughter or,
okay,
you know, you don't block me from none of that. But I can still feel like the bitterness when we do have conversations, and I'm trying to be like, okay, how's life going? How's everything? And she kind of standoffish. She'll communicate, but she's still kind of like hurt from the situation. And I understand that, right? This is a woman that probably wanted to marry me, you know, and it just I wasn't there.
Okay. So what about your son, Mom?
We have a better relationship, man. And I think because the time that my son was born, I was more mature.
Sure.
I understood what was going on in that sector. So that's a little bit more different than my daughter. But
okay, how would you want the relationships to be different? What do you want her to do to make it different?
My daughter's mama?
Yes.
I want her to, you know, kind of forgive me for not being as mature as I am today. You know, we're talking about 16 years ago, P. I wasn't as mature as I am.
I get that, but okay, so you just said the key thing, right? You said forgive me, right?
I want you to forgive me. Yep.
Okay, so my thing is, if someone is walking around with an attitude or a problem, and you haven't asked for their forgiveness or came to them humbly and said, hey, I was young at this situation, because someone just can't assume that. And especially if you hurt their feelings or you disregarded the situation that they were in, because obviously you said, okay, she was a bit more mature than you was, right? So
Somebody said it sounds like some conversation in therapy is needed. Have y'all thought about that, going to therapy for it?
Was it therapy for me or therapy for the both of us, or therapy
for both of y'all in order to move forward?
Like I said, man, I feel like I've moved forward, but I don't know if she has. So I don't know if there's a therapy session that's needed.
Well, I think it's both of you guys, because I think it's an unresolved issue, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I'm going to say, and I have to learn this, even in my relationship now, sometimes we sweep things under the rug, and that ain't helping nothing. It's just getting to the next day. You know what I mean? It's just getting to the next day. I guess.
He said, somebody said she needs
Right. Man.
So, Riz, what's your thought? What's your thoughts with this situation?
What's my thought with his situation or co-parent?
With this, no, just this
with his
conversation.
I mean,
with co-parenting?
yeah, he definitely, you know, will have to, like you said, go to her humbly and ask for forgiveness and acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is everything.
Okay.
Kind of remind me of Psalms 51 when David said, "I acknowledge my transgressions."
Okay.
That's what a lot of us fall short at. We won't even say what we was wrong at, or we'll say it to other people, but not to that person. Like, hey, I was wrong. I had to
Right.
learn to do this the right way. And so acknowledgement, you know, could be the first step, you know. Um, One thing though about it is when you ask a person for forgiveness, sometimes you think that they supposed to forgive right then and there, but that don't happen. It's like a seed. You plant that seed and you gotta wait for it to grow and to prosper and to manifest. And that could
And
take
then
however long. We can't decide how long that takes.
I think we have to constantly show who we are.
Yep.
Uh,
Gotta show you different.
yeah. In this situation, because you just want somebody to take your word for it because it came out your mouth, but your actions could be something totally different.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, gentlemen, something, man.
Sure.
I had a male, a really good friend of mine, tell me, man. He said, man, you know, Schwinn, man, you got a lot of power, bro.
Okay.
And I did at the morning. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he was saying, man, like, I'm looking at you, and number one, you're on the success side, you're succeeding, and you got a business, you're doing all this, man.
Mhm.
So you got power that you don't even know, and people will be mad at you. And so now I understand when people look at me, you know, you might have some bitterness, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it.
I
I get
mean,
it now, though, P.
okay,
I
my
get it
question
too. It's a thin line between love and hate. And a lot
it
of
is,
times,
but
if a
okay, but
person feel like
this
they
is what
can't love you the way that they want to, or you be accessible to them, they gonna automatically hate you, and that's just what it is.
and I guess I'm saying, does she have a right to?
Be mad at me
Yes.
right now or back then? Right now,
Now,
Yeah,
yeah,
right now.
I would think after 16 years you let it go a little bit, but you know, back then,
But
yeah.
you said what?
I said, yeah, about, you know, when we first was, my daughter was born, yeah, she probably had a not, I could say she had an opportunity to be mad at me, but right now I would think she would let it go.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring somebody in really quick. I guess they want to say something about this.
Bring them in.
But what's your thoughts with that, Rance?
Hey,
How
How
are
you
you?
doing?
Hey,
I'm doing good. So listen, I'm listening in to what you're saying, and this is what I wanted to add. I said I got to get in on this because I
Absolutely.
went through this myself, and we have to choke on our feelings. We have to choke them up and put our big panties on and move on. You know,
Okay.
my son's dad, he didn't want to grow up. He was like you, he was immature. He didn't
okay.
want to get together, so I had to go on with my life. And now he's being like a woman, if you ask me. I know women do this. They use the kids. They
She
act.
ain't talking about you, Swin.
Hey, I was wondering, like, man, you coming at me? You know what I'm saying?
No, not you.
Gotta take this offline.
No, we're
No,
joking. We're joking.
my
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
this is my own situation. So, and forgive my background because I'm in my bedroom.
You're
Just
good. You're good.
No,
that
you good. You good.
I'm relaxed. But you know, and he does that now. He does what I thought maybe, you know, a woman would do is try to like he'll come over and and say he can't see my son unless I'm around, and it's like, no, take him, go.
Yeah.
Give me some free time.
Correct.
But he's like, oh, it just works better when you're around. No, 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 no. You go on and do your thing. And now because of it, because I pushed away from him, he pulled away from his son.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
real bad. So now my child is suffering.
And
And
can I say something to you, sister? Look, I think as time goes on and we progress in life as men,
mhm.
we know when we have lost a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be eating the hell out of him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
man, my baby mama was there. I wasn't mature at that point.
Mhm.
And now I'm older. I'm seeing how, it's hurting me. So that might be why. I'm just talking from a man's perspective.
Let me also add that he has moved on. He got married. I mean, to me, he should be moved on, but
Yeah. I
Sometimes,
think
he got
hey,
married,
hey,
so
sometimes that marriage be a smoke screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
true.
Facts. I think we have to learn overall, how to accept losing. We win in some areas, we lose in others. He lost you, but he gained a relationship with his child that's everlasting. And we
Thank,
right.
should,
thank,
every man that has a child should be all about, what am I leaving? What is my inheritance?
and
What
that's
am
how
I leaving behind? What am I putting into my child? So if you focus on that, then he'll forget that his heart is hurting from you, because evidently it's still hurting, but that don't matter more than his inheritance and leaving his child. So it just all depends on the individual. But it's a sad fact that both men and women will use the child in order to get back at that other parent or to demonstrate their love or their hate for somebody else. It
yeah,
shouldn't be that way, but children get used all the time.
it's sad. And like I said, we need to learn to choke up on our feelings, choke them
Yeah,
up, just choke it
I
up,
agree.
and go on. Do what's right for the kids. So yeah, thank you guys for letting me get
no
in.
problem. No
Thank
problem.
you,
And thank
sister. We
you.
appreciate you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Problem.
Let
How
me
do
see.
you?
I have no idea. We finna figure it out. I'm sorry.
I'm not texting.
Right. If not, that you just gonna have to stand in. You're gonna have to stand
You
with the
have to
show.
talk to
Oh,
us.
I want to chill. I want to lay back down. No, go
So,
We got to figure
figure it
that.
out. You get it figured out. So
yeah.
I'll have.
Rance, what is your situation with that?
So I have two children, a
Okay.
girl and a boy. The girl is 17 and the boy is 12.
Okay.
And always been active in, both of their lives ever since we separated for the last time. Afterwards, she got married. I continued to do everything I could, make a 2-hour commute from one city commute. I mean, from one city to another, just to show, my love for my kids. And so where the challenge come in with me at is, wanting equal rights when it comes to like joint custody or wishing that I could have more parenting time with them. That's been the only thing that we got into it about, is me wanting more parenting time. And so what's challenging is, in my city I run a gym and I have a youth program where I mentor certain youths that their fathers are not in their lives. So these mothers on this end are coming to me and saying, hey, we need help with our children. But with me, I got to go that extra mile, and even the bitterness of the woman try to make it hard for me to see my kids. So it's like, man, you got kids that don't have a father, and here I am having to go the extra mile and jump hoops to see them. And so it's challenging, but I make the best out of it.
Okay. So you say you make the best out of it, and how does she feel?
Well, we don't even communicate at this point in time.
Okay.
Our communication is we don't communicate at all. We communicate through the kids. My daughter is 17, and she drives my son to me, and it got to the point to where we don't communicate.
And why y'all don't communicate, bro?
Just because, bro, over the years we bumped heads.
Yep.
We bumped heads over and over, and after a while it became better not to communicate. And to be totally transparent with y'all, I'm going through a joint custody case now where I'm trying to get more parenting time, because I'm like, hey, it shouldn't be where I only see them every other weekend. With my daughter, she's 17, she'll be graduated and grown next year. But my son, he's turning 13. He need more time with a man, in my opinion. And so why not that man be me, his father? So in order to not only see him every other weekend, I feel like I should have the whole summer to train him, to work with him, to mentor him, to do some of the things that I want to do. And so in order to get that, I had to file a motion and go to court in order to get the whole summer with my own son.
But she wanted to make it hard.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's a lot of men out here that aren't putting the effort that you're putting in. Also, as far as to to have custody or to be with their kids.
You're right. It's rare. But
Yeah.
at the same time, and a lot of guys that give up the fight because they feel like, why do I have to fight? And so that's when we have to swallow the bitterness or any other personal opinion we have about that person and just say, hey, is this person a good parent? And if they're a good parent, you got to say, let this person parent. I've always felt like she was a good parent, and like I've never had to or wanted to take my daughter from her, or not even take my son. I don't want to take him, but I just feel like he's at that age where he needs more time with a man.
He need his daddy. Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think in those situations it's a fight for control. Right? I think it's a fight. I think it's a fight for control, or say, okay, I'm in control of this situation, and you deal with the kids when I want you to deal with them, how I want you to deal with them. Instead of saying, okay, I want to be fair and just in this situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
And then to break it all down, man, after those two, I didn't have other kids. She did. So one of the things is, if my son is at home during the summer, he can help babysit his other siblings. And so when my problem come in, that is like, hey, you got to take that up with their father. You made other kids, you got to take that up with their father or their family. He need to be with me so I can, do what I need to do with grooming him to be, who God called him to be. So that's where the problem come in at.
Okay. So I guess, yeah, because a lot of times what you're saying is, it's she's taking your time or time with you guys because she needs the help on the other end.
On the other end, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And that becomes difficult because you don't want to be selfish, but it's like, hey, I can't do what I need to do with every other weekend. It's impossible.
But I think to a certain extent you have to be selfish, because looking at that situation, it's taken away from him.
It is.
Yeah, it's taken away from him. What are some questions that you guys may have about co-parenting or other situations?
Just for the women that's watching, if you dating a guy and he's not involved in his kid's life, is that a red flag for you? Or do you kind of monitor the situation, depending on the situation in detail? Or is that automatically a red flag if you dating a guy and he's not involved in his kid's life? Comment that question for us. Comment the answer to that question.
Somebody say yes.
He's a bomb. Exit the stage left. Red flag.
Okay. So what is the ideal baby mom, the ideal kid's mom for you, Swin? What would be the ideal that how she acts or whatever? What would be ideal for you?
The ideal baby mama, whatever you want to call a kid's mama, whatever. For me, it would be someone who understands industry. And what I mean by industry is you understand every aspect of this country. So don't be so quick to put your child's father on child support, because what that does is, and I'm gonna say this, it puts a bad taste.
You got a confused look on my face right now, Swing. Explain yourself.
It puts a bad taste in the relationship. No man wants to be put on child support. I'll be honest, right? Forcefully. From what I've seen, I would say the ideal person would be work with the man, right? Once he becomes mature, work with them, communicate with them, let go the bitterness if you can, right? We understand that women can be a little bit more emotional than men, but at some point you have to communicate and open up and have those conversations, those unhealthy conversations or uncomfortable conversations, right? And then at the end of the day, you come to a conclusion. Someone who understands each other, right? You can't move on unless you understand the other individual. Um, don't be so difficult, right? You know, I think I understand life is difficult as it is. Why have another person that you're trying to co-parent bring other animosity towards your life? Understand that, Pete. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need that. The man is already going through enough. The woman is going through enough. Why can't we come into an equal ground? Why are we?
I mean, okay, I'm gonna just say this. I hear most women complaining about guys not coming to the table equal and fair, right? And I'm talking about financially or whatever, right? And I think it's just, if you're not coming to the table like they're coming to the table, they have the kid, they're taking care of the kid, everything they have is going towards the kid. Are you supporting the kid? And and it's not just financial. Are you supporting the kid financially? Are you supporting the kid with your time? Right?
Because it all matters. It definitely
It
all
does.
matters.
It does. But what I'm saying, and I guess I look at this situation and say, and I know we all have to grow in situations and say, okay, you know what? But you still have to. I got some buddies that they got the new J's, they got this, and that, and their kids looking like I don't know what.
I agree. And so my opinion is some brothers need to be on child support.
And all I'm saying is, come 100. If you're
Come
coming, come
100.
100,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of guys don't. A lot of guys don't come to the table and say, okay, you know what? Let me be fair. The kid's got a basketball game.
Right.
Let me pay my half, or let's go half on it. Let me pay for half of this. Let me transport. Like I said, I know you guys' situation because y'all my brothers. You know, we talk a little bit, so it may be different. All I'm saying is we have to be fair and equal also, because this lady has the kids in their home.
In their home,
yeah. And financially, she's there with them and spending her money like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? I just say, you know what? Are we doing our part? That's all I'm saying. And
let me say this. I think I agree with y'all. You know, if the child support is the method, then a lot of cats do need that. But let me say this, man. As black men, we are fucked up out here, man. I'm gonna say that. We don't have the education to be a good father. We have to learn to be a good father if we didn't have that education. Where do we get the education from?
Bro,
and I think
everything is as you go, but
it's as you go. It's all trial
and some of
error,
this is common sense, bro.
Yeah,
some of this is common sense, and some of this is not being selfish, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of guys out here are selfish, right? Even when it comes to without kids, I'm just saying, just in general, you know what I mean? It's completely selfish. And you have to look at those situations and say, man, until these kids are out your house, like I said, you have to kind of have an order to your life, right?
Yep.
Again, I'll say this a million times. God, my wife, then this. But it would be God, my wife, my kids, right? Because I would never put I don't think you should put your kids before your spouse. You know, that's just my opinion on that. But I'm just saying, I think you should have your kids right here, bro, because a lot of people don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna go to the concert, and it's out of sight, out of mind, because the kids are over here taken care of. You just go kick it or do whatever.
It's real. I'm gonna say this. It's real.
Read what Tiffany was saying, please.
What she say? I can say this, man.
It went up too fast on mine. Man.
I believe that some of these guys was just out here running reckless.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, bro. They ran into a situation that they really didn't want. And Unfortunately, it cost them, and that be some of the animosity. They really didn't want that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You got to be mature. So the same question that you asked him, what would be my ideal of co-parenting? It'll simply be for two people to equally agree that we're going to do what's best for the child. Let's do what's best for the child in all situations, from a
Okay.
financial standpoint to education, mental, spiritual, whatever it is we have to do. Let's just do what's best for the child. If we have that, if two people have that in mind, they'll be able to move forward and be successful. But a lot of times, is that what everybody been saying, it's that selfishness that'll stop you from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I know the child gonna be better with you for this season, but because I don't like you, I ain't gonna let the child go. Or
Yeah.
I know, that you deserve summers, but because I know that it's gonna cost you more to drive back and forth, I'm gonna keep them. Or because it benefit me more, and if we just get that what's best for the child and move forward with that, then you can't lose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey
Yeah.
P, what we looking like on time, bro?
We're pretty good right now.
I don't want that same little,
Yeah, we're good. I got it. We're good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
selfishness, man. We have to eradicate that in order for us to, move forward. We have to eradicate that selfishness, and it take time. You got to peel it back in layers sometime, but
Yeah.
it's not about us. When you lay down and you put that seed in that woman, whether you tried to or not, you ain't pull out, or you probably did pull out because we know pre come and get a
Yeah.
woman pregnant too. It ain't about you no more at that point in time. And so
right.
for me personally, fatherhood has been the greatest blessing of my life. It's come
Okay.
with challenges, of course, but it's a great blessing. And
Right.
so
Right.
I try to just balance it out, man. And that's all we can do at the end of the day.
Right.
Absolutely. 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 Yeah, I think the best situation for that is to um, a good communication, right?
Yeah.
Um, and just sit down and say, we have to get along because you love your kid just as much. Be like, I love my son just as much as you love him. So we have to come together. I mean, I'm gonna say as an uncle, I'm helping my niece, right?
Right.
And I stepped up, which you know Harper is just all over the place. So, but I stepped up and said, okay, you know what? I want her to have a better education or a better life. So I asked my niece, I said, hey man, can you just let Harper go to school from here or whatever? Because the district we stay in is a lot better. We stay in the suburbs, so it's a lot better. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm appreciative of that. But I just feel like as a man, I had to step up because her dad isn't in her life and just say, okay, you know what? Let me help help with this situation. You know what I mean? And let me just help with this situation.
Yeah.
And for me, it was kind of, I ain't gonna say it was difficult, but it's different. I
Yeah.
mean, dealing with kids and just her mom, man, and that's my niece, but geez, you know, I have to go through I don't know what sometime, and I'm just like, it's a little bit crazy because I'm like,
Yeah.
all I'm trying to do is do what's best for her, right?
Yeah.
But again, I understand because she's in control, and I try to respect that and not, go off or this and that. But you know, it,
Yeah. I'm
it
kidding. Yeah.
I think it can be a difficult situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you're dealing with love. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? All this is about love and what's in the best interest, right? You
Hey,
know, so
hey,
yeah,
P, let me give a little game to some of the women that may be watching this.
sure.
So, as men, I want you guys to understand that men are not as disciplined as you guys think we are. We're not disciplined with our finances. We're not disciplined in the way we move out here. We're not disciplined in the way we need to grind. We're not disciplined in anything until it really hits us. So when I talk about discipline, it's a learning pattern. You guys have got to recognize that sometimes y'all don't, but we are not as disciplined as you guys think we are. It's got to be something that hits us to say, okay, let me pipe now. Let me, you know what I'm saying? So women, y'all got to understand the right individual who y'all, you know, making a unison with. We are not as disciplined until something hits us and say, man, okay, I need to really do what I need to.
So can I ask a question? And that was good. I'm glad you said that. But I guess my question is, how is that their fault?
Oh,
But
how's that their fault? It's their fault because a mature woman should choose a mature man. Plain and simple. And if that Negro ain't ready, don't open your legs to him. That's what I would tell my daughter.
right,
Don't open your legs to an immature man. Wait until he's mature. And if he
Okay.
ain't mature, then he don't deserve no cookie.
right.
Plain and simple. And it's
Okay.
done through his actions, not his words. Nobody gonna be perfect. But I was 20 years old when my daughter was born. Had no business making no kid at 20 years old.
Yep.
A week before my 21st birthday. Had no business making no kids. But I've always been there, and I refuse to pass my responsibility on to another man, even when her mother was married. I never thought I'd be comfortable with saying the word stepdaddy, but I was blessed. My kids had an excellent stepfather. The dude
Hey,
was good to my kids.
hey, P, let me ask
And
you.
you know, you mature in certain things, but you know, kids should wait. So when I'm talking to the youth now, a lot of times we'll tell the girls, don't have sex, don't let any boy get you pregnant. But one of the things I tell to the boys, hey, you better be careful where you put your seed at, young brother. Because if you put your seed in the wrong place, you gonna hate this woman. She carrying your baby. Now this baby is born in a world of hate, and nobody wins.
Hey,
So not only am I telling that to the girls, I'm telling the boys, be careful where you plant your seed. Don't be so quick to want to have sex.
But as a young man, you're not gonna listen to that. You're not.
You probably not, but they gonna be able to say they heard it from me versus
No,
the advice
yeah,
that I was giving.
but that's all. I guess that's a hindsight 2020 story, because I'm saying as a young man, you like, oh, I like her, I love her, or it's this type of situation, right? Until that situation happens, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you can say that, and I think you just have to keep pushing that message.
Yeah, you
But
have to. Of course,
but
most of them not gonna listen, but you know it's better than telling our young boys, hey, it's all right to have 5 and 10 women. I be no, you better get you one respectful young lady, and focus on that versus man, get you
I
five,
think
10 women to
I
be a
think we
player.
were having a conversation kind of about that, and you were saying to me about your nephew. No, I'm not going to tell him about a female spending the night or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to see that situation, bro. They're not going to see, oh, this isn't a good woman, and looking at future. No kid is going to look at that situation. I mean, would you look at that situation at that age?
I wasn't ready for certain things, and
Sure.
we're not gonna be ready for certain truth. But that don't mean that we shouldn't tell them.
Right.
You know what I mean? That don't mean that you shouldn't tell them, because if you don't tell them, now you're not doing your job.
Sure.
Whether they listen or not, that's gonna be up to them. But the fact that you sowed that seed, that's all. That's a lot of times. That's all we can do is sow that seed and keep moving. So you got to sow that seed and move forward. But they need to hear godly counsel.
Hey,
absolutely. I'm not saying don't say it, bro. But what I'm saying is,
Somebody said young men are driven by emotions.
I'm just trying
I
to be
agree.
realistic.
I think young people all together, and and some older people, most people in general are driven by emotions. But once maturity come in, we start making decisions based on wisdom, because your emotions gonna send you all over the place.
Hey, somebody, we gotta address this, right? Somebody asked a question. Why do you go in her raw then?
Oh,
because
them emotions. Because emotions you want to feel that.
Because it feels good. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't see that question.
Yep.
Because you thought you was smart enough to pull out, and that you weren't gonna get caught up, and all these silly things that we think as kids. That's
Yep.
hey, what the Bible say? When I was a child, I thought, I spoke, and I understood as a child.
Hey.
But you still have some adults that do it too. Which go to show us maturity ain't an age, it's a mindset.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
It look
brother,
like it's about that time, man. Let's
yeah,
get
it
our
is,
final
man.
thoughts
I'd like
in,
to
and
thank all y'all
then
for
next week, man, maybe we can pick up on co-parenting and add a little bit more questions to it.
absolutely.
That's deep, man. That co-parenting is deep. It's a lot of
So
areas that we can touch and just encourage our people.
yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And like I said, we're
Whoa.
gonna try to get a little bit better as we go and just do what we do. And so I appreciate you guys and thank y'all.
My
Y'all
brother.
have a good night. Thanks for all the questions and the comments.
For
Be
sure.
blessed.